One analyst who says ICBC will not and should not bail out investors is Chang Liao of Standard & Poor's, and he joins me now from Beijing. Now, Chang, we've been hearing a lot of these conflicting reports. Why do you think that's happening out now, and do you think there's any truth to stories of ICBC agreeing to pay up?
Firstly, the reason why this instance is emerging right now is because Chinese economy has been slowing down for quite a while, and gradually some of these projects will be in trouble. So that's why I understand why this is in trouble. And secondly, because the shadow banking activity in China has been flourishing since I think after 2010, and some of these funds raised in shadow banking universe has been used to finance some of those projects that have no access to the regular banking system.
Right.
And this instance has created part of them, yeah.
Right. So despite all these reports, you say you don't believe for a minute that ICBC would pay up and bail out investors. So why would you say that?
To us, this is quite straightforward, because anyway, there's no legal ground for ICBC to take this responsibility. ICBC play basically a distributor role for this product. And if there's any wrongdoing at ICBC's end, this has to be some order from a court in China. So there's no legal ground for ICBC to do that. And secondly, because ICBC, in our view, the so-called argument that the reputation risk can drag ICBC or any distributing banks down is that perhaps the investor would have no differentiation across the products. But in our view, this is not the case. For such a high risk, high premium products, high yield products, actually we see quite separated markets for investors. We don't think the investors will simply view all the most managed products in the market as same.
Okay, so the point you're making is because the people who have their money in this product are high net worth individuals, the government should not be afraid of them making a fuss. What about the worry that everybody else will yank their money out of the shadow banking system and the economy just can't stand that kind of sharp deleveraging?
Right. This is a very fundamental concern that many people, including us, will have regarding the potential consequences from a failure of such product. However, we take some comfort that you see this trust product actually is kind of actually behave very similar as a bond. So they may not have such immediate liquidity shock to the market. Rather, there could be some spiraling up of the funding cost for some of those borrowers. But it's unlikely to trigger some liquidity shock. That's our view.
Okay, so if ICBC doesn't pay, between a straight out default or making the trust company pay, which one is a better outcome for the economy as a whole?
I wouldn't comment which one is better, but clearly we really believe that ICBC may not take the lead in.
I see. In a very unlikely case that ICBC does pay up, is this going to be a negative event from a credit perspective for ICBC, the Chinese banking sector, and even for the Chinese sovereign?
That's definitely a negative development to our rating on the Chinese banking sector, and including the bank specifically. Because the reason for that is because we have been factoring some banks' direct exposure to shadow banking universe in our estimate of the whole banking sector's credit exposures. If this case suggests the other way, basically ICBC will have to bear direct losses from such indirect exposures. Then, which basically means that our previous estimate of the Chinese banks' exposure to shadow banking will be wrong.
Okay, does that change your view do you think that ultimately will destabilize the banking system in China?
That's another story, because you see, although there could be a very, we have to review the whole impact from such unlikely scenario that the ICBC will bail out this product. But to say they will have immediate impact or undermine the whole banking sector immediately, we don't think so, because anyway, the Chinese banks still have the structural strength in terms of the liquidity profile of the banking sector. So we do believe that at least there's still some room for the policymakers and the banking sector to react to such an unlikely scenario.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Chang. That was Chang Liao of Standard & Poor's joining me from Beijing.